Orphan girl whispered a prayer at billionaire's funeral. The will suddenly changed in her favor, and the reason will break your heart. Nairobi's sky was grey like an old rag soaked in rain, pressing down so hard it felt hard to breathe. The bells of St. Mary's Cathedral tolled heavily 10 times, each strike like a hammer on the hearts of the living. Today, one of Africa's richest men, Joseph K. Russia, was being laid to rest. Outside the church, black stretch limos rolled up one after another. The doors opened, and out stepped politicians, celebrities, men in crisp suits, women in diamond-studded hats and pearl necklaces. Their high heels clicked on the wet stone steps, splashing puddles that smelled like money. Security guards with earpieces stood watch like they were riding a vault. Inside, crystal chandeliers cast a dim glow over flickering candles, and the organ played a mournful Amazing Grace. The pastor stood at the pulpit, his voice solemn. Joseph K. Russia, a man who rose from the slums to become a mining titan, who reshaped this nation's mineral empire. Then, right in the middle of the sermon, the back door creaked open. A gust of damp, dusty wind rushed in, cutting off the music. Everyone turned. A girl stood in the doorway. Barefoot, her soles caked in mud, like she just walked a dirt road after the rain. She wore a faded blue cotton dress, frayed at the sleeves, with a small hole near the hem. Her hair was braided into thin twists, her face weathered by sun and wind, but her eyes clear like stars in a rainy night. She didn't walk to the VIP section or the family array. Instead, she quietly moved to the first pew, knelt down, and clasped her hands. No one knew her. Security tensed, ready to grab her, until she closed her eyes and began to whisper a prayer. In Ma, the ancient language of the East African plains. Iam Kai, na Kishuan Kai. Lord, I ask of you, na Kishuan Kai Kishuan Puro, forgive his soul, na Kishuan Kai Kishuan Kishu, and protect the child in my womb. Her voice was soft, like wind over grass. But the church's backup mic, left on by accident, caught every word and blasted it through the speakers. Protect the child in my womb. Silence. Everyone heard it. A child, someone gasped. She's pregnant. The society women clutched their PRLs. Whose K.A. Russia's reporters' fingers flew over their phones. Security lunged, grabbing her arm. Who are you? Who let you in? She didn't fight. Just looked up with those dark eyes, steady, endless, like the savannah. Then, a lawyer in a charcoal gray suit rushed to the pulpit, face grim. Ladies and gentlemen, he said, voice tight, 48 hours before his death, Mr. K.A. Russia amended his will. The room froze. The original heirs remain. But there's a new clause: if a woman prays for him at his funeral and can prove a blood or emotional tie to him, she inherits 30% of his mining shares and full control of the K.A. Russia Hope Fund. The church exploded. What? Paul, K.A. Russia's eldest son, shot up, face red. Impossible. Dad wasn't in his right mind. Someone manipulated him. His sister Maria shrieked, this is a scam. That girl's a witch. She cursed him. Cameras flashed like lightning, all aimed at the girl. Still kneeling, still silent, her fingers brushed over her flat stomach. Old Chief Kamonai, in his red Masai shuka, gripped his staff and muttered, N.A. Rakema, Inkishiyama. The child returns. The bloodline holds. No one heard him. The lawyer kept going. The clause specifies, she will come. She will pray for me. Her eyes re her mother's. That hit like a knife. Paul Roa read, ridiculous. Dad never mentioned a Basta RD. The lawyer pulled out a faded photo. Young Joseph K.A. Russia, standing in the grasslands. ARMA around a Maasai girl in traditional beads. In her ARMS, a baby with eyes black as night. 1998. Mr. K.A. Russia visiting home. This woman was Natasha, a Maasai teacher. She died 3 years later. Her only daughter was lost in the slums. The girl reached up, unclasping a thin copper chain. On it, a tiny ring, engraved JNN. The lawyer's voice shook. This ring was Mr. K.A. Russia's token to Natasha. The only one like it in Africa. Dead silence. Paul went pale. Maria collapsed into her seat. They finally understood this ragged girl might really be their sister. Security let go. The girl stayed kneeling. The pastor asked softly, child, what's your name? She answered, quiet but clear, Ashamwatha. Mwatha means light. Why are you here? She looked at the coffin, TRS falling. I came because Nana Layla told me to. She said if I had nowhere else to go, I should pray the reconciliation prayer for him. Because he was my father. When she said father, thunder cracked outside. Rain poured down. Reporters stampeded out, scrambling to break the news. The elite whispered about illegitimate heirs and scandals. In the slums, kids pointed at TV screens, yelling, "It's Asha! She's back!" And in the corner, Asha still knelt. Rain seeped under the door, wetting her dress. She touched her stomach and whispered, "Mama, I did it. Can you hear me?" No one answered. But in that moment, everyone knew this funeral wasn't just for the dead anymore. It was for a forgotten daughter. A whispered prayer. And a fate about to change. African proverb opening: when the wind blows over the plains, the grass that bends first is often the strongest. The rain poured down on Kibera's tin roofs like 1,000 hands pounding the drums of fate. Dirty water swirled into muddy rivers in the dirt roads, BA food kids chasing after scraps of foam and rags, their laughter cutting through the damp air, as if there was still something in this world worth running. Tawa RD, beyond the mud. But Asha Mwatha wasn't laughing. She curled up inside an abandoned shipping container, a moldy blanket half covering her. This place had once been a construction site storage shed. Now, a home for street kids. A pile of scavenged plastic bottles sat in the corner, her only haul for the day. Her hand drifted to her stomach, still flat, but her chest burned like hot coal. Pregnant. 3 months, and she had no one to tell. 3 days ago, she'd seen herself on TV in a clip from Joseph K.A. Rush's funeral. The girl in the blue dress, kneeling in the back of the church that was her. The reporters called her the mystery love child, that African Cinderella, said she'd struck gold overnight and was about to inherit billions. No one knew she hadn't eaten a hot meal in days. Asha. A raspy voice cut through the rain. She looked up. Nana. Layla stood in the doorway, leaning on her cane, draped in a tattered plastic sheet. Her face was a map of dry riverbeds, but her eyes were Shah RP. You're on TV. Nana grinned, her 2 remaining teeth gleaming. All of Kibera is talking. They say the praying girl came back. Asha gave a tired smile. They also say I'm a witch. That I cursed my way into money. Fa. Nana's cane thumped against the metal wall. Black HRTSC demons everywhere. You're no witch. You're Natasha's daughter. A seed from the Maasai Plains, not meant to rot in this mud. Asha looked down, fingers tracing the copper ring. I don't even remember her face. She left too soon. Nana sat beside her, pulling a yellowed photo from her shawl. A young Natasha stood in front of a village school, a baby in her RMS, her smile soft, eyes like lakes after rain. Your mama was the first woman teacher in her village, Nana murmured. She taught your father Joseph his first Swahili letters. They loved each other. But the Ka Rushes said a Maasai woman wasn't fit for the city. Forced him to marry some rich Nairobi girl. Asha's chest tightened. Then why did he leave us? Ambition. Nana sighed. He swore he'd make enough to come back for you both. But the more money he got, the farther he walked. By the time he turned around your mama had been sick 3 years. No medicine. Just a grass hut to die in. Asha's TRS fell silently. Nana gripped her hand. Before she passed, she wrote you a letter. Made me promise to give it to you. But you were 5. I was afraid the truth would make you hate the world. So I burned it. Only kept the ring. You burned it. Asha jerked her head up. Yes. Nana nodded. Hurt eats deeper than hunger. I wanted you light. A long silence. Then Asha whispered, why tell me now? Nana sta read into the rain. Because I'm leaving soon. Yesterday, those people came recruiting for the charity school. Said they'd feed you, teach sewing. I told you not to go. But you did. Asha went rigid. 3 days ago. A woman in a suit had rolled up in a van, claiming to be from the Ka Russia Foundation, 300 shillings a month for factory work. Asha had been desperate, she needed money. Needed a doctor. But the school was a sweatshop. Girls locked inside, sewing for 10 hours a day, eating rotten food, entertaining guests at night. She'd escaped, but not before a Gwa-RD shoved her into a fence. Her stomach still ached where the metal bar had struck. They sell our bodies under charity's name, Nana spat. Paul Ka Russia, Joseph's son, owns that hellhole. Uses his father's legacy to trap the poor. Asha trembled. Now she understood Paul's rage at the funeral. He wasn't afraid of Shah Ring wealth. He was afraid she'd expose him. So Nana squeezed her hand. Go to that funeral. Say the reconciliation prayer. Not for money. For your mama's peace. And for your right to stand tall. Asha shook her head. They'll throw me out like a beg AR. No. Nana pulled a cloth bundle from her shawl, unwrapping a deep blue Masai dress and a coral bead necklace. Save these for your mama. She said if her girl ever grew up, she should wear Masai colors once. Stand in the sun, unashamed. Asha clutched the fabric, TRS soaking into the threads. That night, Nana coughed violently. Asha tucked the blanket around her. By dawn, Nana was gone. No doctor. No funeral. Just neighbors wrapping her in a mat, burying her by the trash piles. Asha stood at the grave, the dress in her hands. She knew. It was time. She traded her bottles for a newspaper with the funeral notice, scraped together bus FA. She didn't wear the Masai dress, too bold. Just her cleanest blue cotton, the copper ring, and the prayer Nana had taught her. A bloodline song. Father, I forgive your distance. Mother. I bring your light home. She didn't know what would happen at St. Mary's. Didn't fear or being thrown out or cursed. Only this, if I don't go, Mama's soul will wander forever. So when she stepped into that cathedral, knelt in the shadows, and whispered the first Ma words, she wasn't begging for riches or a name. Just saying, Mama, I'm here, I finished your goodbye. And she never saw the HARS of fate turned. African proverb opening, under the ashes, embers still blow. In silence, echoes remain. Asha was led into a bright room, like a hospital, but colder. White walls, white lights, people in white coats. She sat on a metal chair, the dried mud on her feet cracked like the pa-rth of the slums. Hold out your hand, a nurse said. Her voice wasn't HRSH, but it wasn't WARM either. Asha obeyed. The nurse swabbed her mouth, sealed the sample in a tube, and labeled it, specimen is 01, Asha Mwada. How long? Asha asked. Tomorrow. At the earliest, the nurse replied. The DNA labs at Nairobi University, but the Ka Russia family can fast-track it. Asha nodded. She already knew, the whole city was waiting. Was she the princess or just a fraud? Paul Ka Russia slammed his phone down. The glass coffee table shuddered. His mother, Isabella, the widow of the late Ka Russia Patria RCH, watched him coldly. Calm down. The lawyers say even if she's his daughter, we can freeze 30% of the Shah residential legally. Mother, you don't get it. Paul hissed. The stocks dropped 8% the moment she showed up. The media's calling it family feud and dirty money. Investors are pulling out. Isabella smirked. Joseph spent his last year RS obsessed, saying he owed a debt to the Masai. Well, now the debt collector's here. She turned to the city skyline. That girl, she really has the ring. Yes, Paul gritted his teeth. An exact match to the one father gave away RS ago. And she knows the reconciliation chant and old Masai noble hymn. Isabella was silent for a moment. Then, softly, the last time he went back to the village, it was to find her and her mother. When he returned, he drank all night, saying, I ruined her. Paul froze. You knew of course, she said, her gaze distant. But what could I do? I'd already given him 3 children, held this family together. Some village woman and her bossed-up RD daughter weren't going to take our future. She picked up the phone. Call the media. START rumors say the girl might be under witchcraft, that the DNA results could be faked. A group of kids huddled around a flickering TV. The news blah read, breaking, DNA results pending in KA Russia inheritance case. Mystery girl's identity still unknown. That's Asha, a boy shouted. I told you she was special. If she's really rich, a girl whispered, she could build us a school. Dream on, an older homeless man scoffed. Rich folks don't help the poor. All those charity funds just line their pockets. On screen, a cultural expert was speaking. In African tradition, blood isn't just DNA, it's ritual. If she can't pass the tribal trials, even a DNA match won't mean anything. What trials? The kids asked. Ancestral chants, family scars, secret names only true blood can pass. The children listened, wide-eyed, as if Asha were in some ancient legend. The results were in. Specimen A01 matches the late Joseph K. A. Rush's DNA at 99.87%. Paternity confirmed. The lawyer held the report, tense. This piece of paper would change a girl's life and TRA family apart. He entered Asha's temporary room, not a jail, but protective custody, which meant the same thing. She sat on the bed, clutching the copper ring. Asha, he said, it's confirmed. You're Joseph K. A. Rush's daughter. Legally, you're entitled to the inheritance. She didn't smile. Just nodded. I see. Yuri not happy. She looked up, her dark eyes steady. My mother died bringing me into this world. Nana died protecting me. Now, I just want to know, what can I do for them? The lawyer paused. He'd handled countless inheritance cases, greed, TRS, madness. But never this. Eyes like the Savannah night, deep and unbroken. News traveled like wind over the plains. The elder, Kimunyi, sat before his hut, listening. She knows the chant, has the ring, DNA matches, the messenger said. The city says she's won. Won, the elder scoffed. City people only know money. We Maasai know the heart. He stood, calling the council. Yeah, hours ago, Joseph broke his oath, left Natasha in shame. I said, you leave today, but when your blood returns, it will bring scars. He looked around. Now she's here, crying her mother's pain, her father's regret. And an unborn child's fate. That scar is deep enough. A councilman frowned. But she grew up in the slums. She doesn't know our ways. How can she inherit customs dead? Blood is alive, another argued. If she can name the 7 ancestors, if she knows the family mark, then she must be accepted. And, the elder said slowly, she must face the Ash trial. Gasps. The Ash trial was the oldest test of bloodline, a candidate's hand plunged into burning embers. If Ahmed, and if the ashes revealed the family symbol, the ancestors had spoken. Too dangerous, a councilman protested. If she's false, her hand will rot. If she's truly Natasha's child, the elder said, the ancestors will protect her. Media SWA Ahmed. The KA Russia lawyers shouted, DNA can be faked. We demand tribal verification. The judge turned to Asha. Will you accept the Maasai trial? She stood. My mother was Maasai. My blood is Maasai. I accept. Silence. Reporters scrambled, Basta Rodaris accepts fire ordeal. Ancient ritual versus modern law. If she fails, her hand will be ruined. Back in her room, Asha's hands trembled. Not from fear or of pain, but fear or that if she failed, her mother's spirit would never rest. She unfolded Nana's cloth bundle, inside, a Maasai blue robe. She slipped it on, the coral beads heavy against her chest, like a heartbeat. She closed her eyes. Mother, if you hear me, guide me. A fire ROA read. The village circled. The elder raised his staff. Asha stepped forward. Ba refute, in blue robes, like a vision from the past. Name your mother. Natasha Mwada. Your grandfather, Kiprop Nai. The family Ma Arcade the Lipe Road and the well. The beast that led their ancestors to water. The council nodded. She knew. Then, the firepot. Flames died, leaving glowing embers. Reach in. Asha took a breath and plunged her right hand into the ashes. Screams. Her fingers trembled, but she didn't pull back. The heat was unbearable, but she clenched her jaw. 10 seconds. 20. Then, a shape formed in the ashes. Alipe Rd's paw. The elder's voice shook. The ancestors accept her. She is Mwada's child. The village erupted. Women sang the homecoming chant. Men danced the warrior's leap. An old woman brought a clay bowl of rm milk, the highest honor. Drink, child, she said. You're home. Asha lifted the bowl, TRS falling into the milk. She drank and it tasted like belonging. Asha won. She's not a witch, she's our princess. Isabella whispered, Joseph, what did you owe, that now shakes our house to its roots? Blood on paper, HRT in ashes. True blood, fire can't burn, wind can't scatter. The fire in Urungar village had long burned out, leaving only ashes like the remnants of last night's noise. Asha lay on a straw mat in the ancestral house, wrapped in a rough wool blanket. Outside, the wind whispered across the savannah, raying the scent of dew. And wildflowers. She couldn't sleep. The ash trial from Lyre felt like a dream. When she'd plunged her hand into the embers, she'd expected agony, but instead, there was an eerie calm, as if her mother's hands had shielded her. She turned over, pulling the copper ring from her pouch. Moonlight seeped through the thatched roof, glinting off the engraved letters, J and N. Joseph and Natasha. Closing her eyes, she tried to remember, not a photo, but a feeling, gentle ARMS rocking her, humming a Maasai lullaby, a woman sitting outside a hut, teaching her to trace letters in the dirt, A. BC. That was her mother. But the memory was faint, like smoke in the wind. She thought of Nana's last words, your mother left a letter. I never gave it to you because I feared you'd hate the world if you knew the truth. Hate. Asha touched her stomach. She'd never hated her mother for leaving. She knew Natasha had died, not abandoned her. But she had hated fate. Hated being born in the slums, hated the beatings from relatives, hated going to bed hungry. Now, she wondered, what had her mother wanted to tell her? She stood in golden grass, the equatorial mountains in the distance. A small mud brick school stood nearby. A woman waited at the door, simple dress, hair tied back, a book in her hand. Mother. Asha, she smiled, beckoning. Come. Asha ran, but her legs were short. She was a child again. Natasha knelt, hugging her. Your father, Joseph, he was the love of my life. Then why did he leave us? Her smile faded. Fear of poverty. Of failure. Of disappointing his family. He thought running away would change his fate. But some things once lost, can't be found again. Like what? His HRT, Natasha whispered, stroking her hair. He lost his, and broke others. Do you hate him? No? Hate is a heavy burden. I chose to remember the good, how he taught me my first letters, picked wildflowers for me, promised to build a school so Maasai girls could RN. She pulled an envelope from the book. If you ever meet him, give him this. If not, let the wind carry it. On the envelope, to Joseph K.A. Russia. If you turn back, she still has a home. Asha reached for it, she gasped awake. Nana's son, a middle-aged shopkeeper from Kibra, stood over her, holding a yellowed envelope. Nana hid this in the roof, he said. She told me, only after the tribe accepts her. Asha's hands shook as she took it. The letter from her dream. She unfolded the brittle paper. Neat handwriting, faded with time. Dar Joseph, if you're reading this, I'm likely gone. Our daughter, Asha, is 5. She has your eyes. RK is a storm-locked lake. She's clever. She recites the Maasai epic, writes ABC in the dirt. I never meant to burden you. You have a family, a life in the city. I don't ask you to return, or claim her. But I'm sick. The doctors say I won't last the rainy season. All I want is this, build a school. For girls like her. Disque ride, forgotten. No need to sign your name. No need to visit. Just let it exist. Let her walk through its doors. Then I can rest. This isn't a plea. Just a reminder, you were loved once. You threw it away. If you don't want our daughter to repeat your mistakes, use your wealth to mend them. If you refuse, I won't blame you. Some people wander so they forget the path home. But if you ever turn back, she still has a home. Forever yours Natasha. April 3, 1999. Inch TARS rolled down Asha's face. Now she understood why Joseph had searched for them in his final ERS. Why he'd changed his will on his deathbed. Why he'd whispered, she'll come. She'll pray for me. This letter had shown him his greatest sin, not abandoning love, but leaving his daughter to crawl through mud while he counted money in a skyscraper. He'd regretted it. But regret came too late. Asha pressed the letter to her chest, as if feeling her mother's heartbeat. I see now, Mama. You didn't want revenge, just a way out for me. Isabella sat in the study, reading a private investigator's report. 2003, Joseph K. A. Russia secretly funded medical CA for a Maasai woman. She refused, saying, I won't take his pity. Said woman died, buried in an UNMA Orchid grave NEA or Kibera. She closed the file, face unreadable. She'd always assumed Joseph's affair was just youthful indiscretion. But now she saw it was a woman's dying indictment. She walked to the wedding portrait on the wall, her in white lace, Joseph handsome in his suit, both smiling. But his eyes. They weren't entirely on her. You never stopped loving her, did you? She asked the photo. No answer. But she finally understood Paul's rage. It wasn't about the money. It was about his father's perfect legacy crumbling. And her own refusal to admit, the man she'd married had a hole in his heart no luxury could fill. Asha stood at her mother's grave, just a small mound, a rock for a marker. Nana had told her they'd buried Natasha wrapped in straw, no coffin. She laid down wildflowers. Mama, I read your letter. I understand. From her bag, she pulled out a handwritten plan, goal, 30 seats for abandoned/poor girls location, Kibera outskirts. Curriculum, literacy, math, hygiene, Maasai traditions funding, K.A. Russia Hope Foundation. She placed the paper on the grave, a promise. The elder approached, reading silently before nodding. Your mother would be proud. But I'm pregnant, Asha admitted softly. I don't know the father. In the slums, sometimes you just survive. The elder didn't flinch. A child is life, not shame. We Maasai say every soul is an ancestor's message. Maybe this one is Natasha's echo. She finally saw her mother's letter wasn't about revenge or wealth. It was about ensuring her daughter wouldn't relive her pain. Now, it was Asha's turn. She'd make sure no more girls had to grow up in the mud. Sunlight slanted through the tall windows, falling across the dark wooden benches. The gallery was packed, reporters, lawyers, socialites, and a dozen kids from Kibera squeezed into a corner, their eyes shining like stars. Today was the final hearing in the K.A. Russia inheritance case. Asha sat at the plaintiff's table in her deep blue Maasai dress, hair neatly braided, no makeup, just a quiet strength. She clutched her mother's letter, the papers soft from being held too much. Across the room, Paul K.A. Russia sat stiff in his tailored suit, face cold. His lawyer, the most expensive in Nairobi, Kenneth Mboya, flipped through files with a smirk, like he'd already won. The judge entered. Everyone stood. The core issue, the judge said, is whether the late Joseph K.A. Russia's amended will signed on his deathbed is valid. The defense claims mental incapacity, improper procedure, and alleges this mystery girl manipulated him into inheritance fraud. Kenneth stood, voice booming, Your Honor, we have strong evidence this will was signed under undue influence, while our client's father was mentally compromised. Worse, he pointed at Asha. This so-called daughter likely used witchcraft and psychological coercion to trick a dying man. The gallery erupted in murmurs. Bullshit, an old reporter muttered. Every time a woman challenges power, they cry witchcraft. Asha's fingers trembled. She knew this game. How many African women were branded witches just for refusing to bow? Some exiled. Some burned alive. Then, Aclea, our voice cut through. Your Honor, I request to represent Asha Mwada as pro bono counsel. Everyone turned. A young woman stepped forward. White suit, a small copper ring pinned to her lapel. Lillian Okoth. Nairobi Law School grad. Specialized in women's rights and customary law. Are you licensed? The judge asked. Yes. She handed over credentials. I've worked with UN Women on African inheritance cases. Poor women rely get fair defense. The judge nodded. Approved. Paul's team scoffed. A rookie. She thinks she can take us on. Lillian ignored them, leaning to Asha. Don't worry. I'll make them hear you. Kenneth attacked first. Ms. Asha, when did you leave RN Joseph K.A. Russia was your father? The day of his funeral. Then why go? Because Nana told me, if I was desperate, I should pray for him. Sing the reconciliation chant. Kenneth smirked. Ah. So you went to cast a spell. Use Maasai magic to control the dead. Not magic, Asha said firmly. A prayer. My family's song of peace. Your Honor. Kenneth waved a paper. This is textbook witchcraft. African traditions confirm certain chants can manipulate emotions. I move to void the will due to psychological coercion. The judge frowned. Proof here. Kenneth slapped down an expert report. This states, reconciliation chant induces guilt and hallucinations, classic mind control. Lillian stood, calm. Your Honor, the defense confuses culture with witchcraft. A Maasai prayer is no different than a Christian reciting the Lord's Prayer. If this is mind control, then all religion is manipulation. The judge nodded slightly. Lillian turned to Asha. Sing a pa-rt of it now. Let the court hear. Silence fell. Asha closed her eyes, voice soft but steady in Maasai Ainkai, Nakishuankai. O Creator, I beg you, Nakishu Puro, Nakishu, forgive his soul, forgive our blood, and Arak Inkishu, the child returns, the blood remains. Her voice wasn't loud. But it filled the room like wind over the savannah. In the gallery, Elder Kamuni suddenly stood, responding in Maasai, Inkishu. Blood calls to blood. Other elders echoed him. Kenneth turned red. Your Honor. This is intimidation. Tribal theatrics. Lillian smiled. No. This is cultural testimony. Under UN indigenous rights, oral traditions are legal evidence. She handed the judge a document. The Maasai Council's official statement, Asha is Mwada's true heir, and the chant is a valid right of kinship. The judge read, brow furrowed. Then Lillian dropped the bomb. Your Honor, I'd like to play a recording. The courtroom stilled. A voice crackled over the speakers. A mic at the funeral, catching Asha's whisper, ancestors, forgive him and protect my unborn child. Gasps filled the room. Lillian pressed on, this prayer happened after the will was signed. Asha didn't even know she was inheriting. She prayed not for money but for peace. She turned to Kenneth. If she's a fraud, why beg for forgiveness in private if this is witchcraft? Where's the spell for gold? Kenneth had no answer. Lillian held up Natasha's letter. This was written 25 years ago. It proves Joseph knew his guilt. His final act wasn't manipulation, it was redemption. The room was dead silent. The judge finally spoke. This court finds, Joseph K. Russia was of sound mind when amending his will. Asha Mwada's lineage is confirmed by both DNA and tribal recognition. The reconciliation chanties protected cultural expression, not coercion. Therefore, the amended will stands. Asha Mwada inherits 30% of Mining Shah Residential and full control of the K.A. Russia Hope Fund. The courtroom exploded. Kibera kids cheered. Reporters sprinted for the doors. Paul stormed out, face purple. Asha didn't celebrate. Just touched her stomach, whispering, "Mama." We won. Lillian squeezed her hand. Not the end. The beginning. Elder Kamuni placed a Maasai ring on her finger. Now you're not just a daughter. You're a protector. Asha won. She got the money. She's building a school. Kids in Kibera sprinted between tin shacks, spreading the news. Someone scrawled on a wall with chai red wood, "Long live Sister Asha." Little girls tied blue cloth around their waists, holding hands and singing Maasai chants. But Asha she hid in her temporary shelter, curtains drawn tight, like she was bracing for a storm. In her hand, a letter from the bank. The first transfer had Clea read, 5 million Kenyan shillings, about $30,000. A fortune. Yet she felt no joy, just a heavy, suffocating weight. The money had arrived. So had the trouble. Paul sat at his laptop, watching hashtags trend, hashtag Asha wins, hashtag witch triumphs, hashtag KA Russia shame. He smirked, typing orders to a PR firm spread. Rumors, Asha faked her pregnancy for sympathy. Find slum insiders to say she slept around, that the baby has no father. The lies spread fast. A tabloid headline, virgin heiress or slum slut. The truth about Asha's miracle baby. Comments flooded in, she doesn't deserve to be a mother. Whore traded her body for money. A self-proclaimed spiritualist even claimed, she's cursed. That's no baby, it's a demon. Asha's phone buzzed non-stop, strangers calling to curse her, beg for cash, or send dick pics. "Let me give you a real baby, sis." She threw it across the room, curling up on the bed, hands shielding her stomach. She was terrified. She knew, in this world, a poor, unwed, pregnant woman was the easiest prey. Sister Asha. A little girl burst in. People are saying you're Aliyah R. That you're not K.A. Russia's daughter. Asha shook her head. Let them talk. But they also say your baby is cursed. That it'll bring plague. Asha froze. Who said that? Prophet Enzo. The girl trembled. He's in the SQUA right now, dancing and screaming you're possessed. Asha's blood ran cold. Prophet Enzo was a fraud, a conman who'd once accused a girl of witchcraft, getting her kicked out by her family. She'd nearly drowned herself in the river. This wasn't just gossip. It was a witch hunt. And Asha was the target. Elder Kamuni called the council. Word from the city, a worried elder said. They call Asha's child unclean, say it'll taint our bloodline. Some families refused to let her join rituals. The elder stayed silent. Traditionally, unwed mothers were shamed. But he remembered, when Asha passed the ash trial, the ancestors spoke. A child is innocent, he finally said. Maasai honor life, no matter how it comes. If we cast her out over rumors, we shame our ancestors. His order was firm, no one shuns Asha. Harm her, and you answer to the tribe. When the message reached Nairobi, Asha wept. She still had a home. But the world outside still cold. Asha stepped into the rented office for the first time. Her mother's photo hung on the wall. Blueprints for the school covered the desk. Lillian had hired architects, teachers, doctors. Then, disaster struck. A man in a suit arrived, smiling. Ms. Asha, congratulations. I'm from the KA Russia Fund. Let me help manage the money, ensure every shilling is spent wisely. Clueless about finances, Asha agreed. That night, Lillian checked the records and exploded. He's Paul's spy, she hissed. He copied all the bank details. Tried to redirect funds. Asha sat stunned. She'd thought winning the case meant safety. But she forgot, money attracts the worst kind of predators. Asha sat on the bed, rereading her mother's letter. A question haunted her: what am I fighting for, money, revenge, or just to be treated like a human? She remembered nights in Kibera, running from drunk men, hiding in trash piles. Being tricked into sewing clothes at a charity school, fingers bleeding from needles. 2 SCA read to see a doctor while pregnant, via ring judgment. She'd never fought for wealth. She fought to not be trashed. To walk without shame. To let her child be born without fear. Now, she had money, but felt more trapped than ever. She touched her belly, whispering, I'm sorry, baby, I wanted to give you light. But the world is so dark. It came during a rainstorm. Kibera's dirt roads turned to rivers. Asha woke to frantic knocking. Kids, soaked and shaking, Sister Asha. Maya's in labor. The midwife won't come, says her belly's dirty. Maya was 15, sold to an old man by her uncle, kicked out when she got pregnant. Asha grabbed a TARP and ran into the storm. Inside a leaking shack, Maya writhed in pain. The midwife stood outside, refusing. I won't deliver a witch's baby. Asha knelt beside her, wiping sweat with a rag. I'm here. She remembered Nana's herbal remedies: wild mint for pain, boiled bark for infection. She sent kids to gather plants, singing Maasai lullabies to calm Maya. 3 hours later, a cry split the night. A girl. Asha cleaned the baby, handing her to Maya. Look, she smiled. She's perfect. Maya kissed her daughter, sobbing, her name is Hope. Asha stayed awake all night, watching dawn's light pierce the tin roof, like a and she understood she couldn't hide. She had to stand up, for every girl called unclean. Asha walked into a studio, faced the camera, and said, I'm Asha Mwada. I'm pregnant. The father I don't know. In the slums, sometimes a woman's body isn't her own. The room gasped. Some call me a whore. Say my child is cursed. But I'll tell you the truth, this isn't shame. It's reality. Every year. Thousands of African girls get pregnant from violence, give birth in shame, die in silence. I'm not here to beg forgiveness. I'm here to say, we're not trash. We're human. My baby's name is Hope. And with this money, I'll build a school to teach every girl, your body is yours. Your future is yours. She took off her sunglasses, sta ring straight into the lens. If you call me a witch, fine. I am magic. My power making sure light finds the day. For a moment, all of Nairobi was silent. Then applause erupted. From Kibera. From Urungar. From the RTS of women who'd been told they were nothing. Paul smashed his remote. Isabella turned off the TV, whispering, she's braver than we'll ever be. And in Kibera, a newborn girl slept, her name etched into history. Asha's declaration. Asha's words spread like wildfire across East African social media. Some called her shameless, others hailed her as the light of African women. In Kibera, kids taped her photo to walls, scribbling in chalk, our Queen Fia RS no lies. But Asha knew courage alone wasn't enough. She had to act. She stood by the window of the Natasha's Light office, sta ring at the slums. The rainy season had passed, leaving the air thick with the smell of wet earth and rotting trash. In her hand, a medical report. She'd finally decided to visit a public clinic for a checkup. 14 weeks pregnant. Healthy fetus. But below, in tiny print, recommend folic acid and iron supplements to prevent anemia. She laughed bitterly. Folic acid in Kibera, clean water was a luxury, let alone vitamins. She'd seen too many girls deliver premature babies, tiny bodies going limp and midwives a RMS. She pulled out Nana's old cloth bundle. Inside, no gold or jewels. Just a handwritten herbal journal, pages yellowed, edges curled, filled with Nana's shaky but CA refill script. Mint leaves, boil for stomach pain. Ma Rigold flowers, dry for wounds Ca Re. Baobab Bark, powder for blood strength. Nana had never gone to school. But she'd spent a lifetime memorizing the savannah's wisdom. Asha's eyes lit up. She called her team Lillian, the architect, a volunteer doctor, and girls from Kibera. We're not just building a school, she said. We're adding a clinic for slum women and kids. Combining Nana's remedies with real medicine. Treating what kills here, malaria, diarrhea, anemia, infections after birth. Lillian grinned. Brilliant. Herbs are cheap, accessible, they'd solve of daily sickness. But people will call it witchcraft, the architect worried. Then we name it Traditional Wisdom Health Post, Asha fired back. Real doctors in Cha RGE, herbs as backup. Let science and tradition shake hands. The plan took shape fast. Location, a trash-filled vacant lot in Kibera. Budget. 5 million shillings from the Hope Fund. Goal, open in 3 months, serve 500 plus women/kids. On day 1 of construction, trouble arrived. Bulldozers had ba Relay rolled in when a gang of men stormed the site, led by Ma Rugu, a thug with a face like knotted rope. This land's mine. He sna reled. No digging till you pay protection, 100k shillings a month. Asha stepped 4-way road. This is public land. The government approved our project. Approved. Ma Rugu snatched the permit, ripped it in half, and tossed the pieces. Here, fists read the law. Workers backed off. Asha didn't. She knelt, gathered every shred of paper, smoothed them gently, and tucked them into her bag. Then she stood, locking eyes with Ma Rugu. Do you know who I am? A beg are playing witch. I'm Asha Mwada. Joseph K.A. Russia's daughter. Now, I'm the guardian of Natasha's light. Her voice was quiet, sharp as a blade. You extort money, force girls into sex work, steal food from orphans. You think that makes you strong? She stepped closer. But I've survived darker nights than you. I crawled out of hell unbroken. Your threats. Just stagnant puddles after rain. Turning to the workers, she shouted, keep digging. Let's show him what witch power really looks like. The crew ROA read, rest rooting the machines. Ma Rugu turned purple, but didn't stop them. He knew, this girl had media, lawyers, and a whole tribe behind her. His era of bullying was over. The clinic rose steadily. But inside, Asha struggled. 6 months pregnant now, her belly drew sta res look, the unwed mother, people whispered. Rocks flew through her office window, scrawled with, whores don't build schools. Paul's SMEA campaign raged on, Asha embezzles funds. She sta root questioning herself, can I really change anything or did I just trade a mud pit for a gilded? cage then a dream. Her mother stood in golden grass, holding the letter, smiling. Asha, don't fear. You're not just building a school. You're lighting a lamp. Where light goes, darkness flees. Asha woke sobbing. She grabbed the letter and for the first time, noticed tiny words scratched on the back, "Ba rely visible, daughter, if you ever hold power light the way for those like me." Her heart stopped. Her mother hadn't just wanted her to survive. She'd wanted her to lift others up. Asha invited reporters to the construction site. In a blue dress, hand resting on her belly, she stood before the half-built clinic. "I'm pregnant," she said calmly. 7 months. The father I don't know. But I know this, she's not a mistake. She's life. She pointed to the clinic. Soon, this place will have delivery rooms, nutrition programs, therapy. I'll teach girls how to protect themselves. How to love themselves. How to choose hope, even in hell. Holding up Nana's journal, these remedies saved countless lives. Now, they'll be taught in classrooms. Finally, she addressed the Ka Russias. Some say I've shamed the Ka Russia name. But true shame watching girls suffer and looking away. I'm using his money to do what he never did. That's the real inheritance. The reporters fell silent. On camera, Asha stood tall, her shadow stretching long behind her, like a mountain. On the clinic's final construction day, a surprise visitor. Mama Tutu, the midwife who'd refused to help Maya, hobbled in on a cane. She bowed deeply to Asha. I was wrong. Let me deliver your baby. Let me atone here. Asha pulled her up. Not atonement. Join us. TRS streamed down Mama Tutu's face. I've delivered 1,000 babies. But I never thought their mothers deserved dignity. In that moment, Asha knew change had begun. 3 months later, Natasha's Light opened its doors. Clinic, treated 87 patients on day 1 in malaria, anemia, infections. School, enrolled 30 girls, youngest 8, oldest 16, all cast-offs, dropouts, survivors. 2 portraits hung on the walls, Natasha's face. Nana's herbal sketches. Asha stood before the class. You're not unwanted. Your future teachers, doctors, leaders. From today, your name isn't Basta RD or Slut. Your name is Hope. The girls chanted back, voices small but fierce, we are hope. In the corner, Lillian wiped her eyes. This tiny school wouldn't fix all of Africa. But it had lit one corner. And light always spreads. The morning mist draped over the golden savanna like a veil. In the distance, the peaks of Mount Kenya caught the first sunlight like torches lit by the gods. Asha stood at the village entrance, one hand resting on her rounded belly, gazing at the land of her ancestors. She was back. Not for a trial. Not to prove herself. But to build a school. Behind her, trucks rumbled in loaded with cement, timber, textbooks, medical supplies. Volunteers followed, doctors, teachers, girls from Kibera, all wearing matching blue shirts, Natasha's Light, illuminating the future. But the villagers stood silent at the gates. Men gripped spars, women clutched babies, eyes wary. They didn't block her. Didn't welcome her. Just watched. Asha understood. They remembered the morning Natasha was banished. Cast out for loving an outsider, for being a child unwed. Now her daughter returned, pregnant, UNMA ride, bringing city machines and foreign ways. She wasn't a prodigal daughter. She was an intruder. In the ancestral hut, the council convened. Elder Kamunyi sat stiffly, his ceremonial staff beside him. The others murmured, she passed the ash trial, but her mother's shame remains. Raised in the slums, what does she know of our ways? A school Maasai girls should leah RN to milk cows, weave beads, not read. One elder woman hissed, that child in her belly. If born here, we'd call it Wind's son, fatherless, cursed. Kamuni finally spoke, "Bring her to me." Asha entered, knelt, and offered a blueprint, Natasha's light, Gurungar branch. "Elder," she said calmly, "I want to build a girls' school here. Teach reading, writing, hygiene but also Maasai songs, language, herbal wisdom." Kamuni frowned. "Why not stay in Kibera? They need you more." "Because this is home." She met his gaze. "If our own village won't teach daughters, where does change begin?" A councilman scoffed. "Your mother read too many books, that's why she read Love an Outsider." Asha didn't flinch. "So she should have stayed illiterate." "Ma right, whoever you chose." Silence. Kamuni sighed. "Tradition protects women, it shouldn't cage." Them. "We kept girls close to shield them. But the world has changed." He set 3 conditions: heal the sick. Old Mama Kip's joints ache. Cure her, prove your heart. Build together. No outside laborers. Villagers must work. The ancestors' right. When your child is born, they must answer to our spirits. Asha nodded. "I accept." Mama Kip, 85, sat hunched outside her hut, legs stiff with arthritis. She read as Asha approached. "No city needles. Your medicine steals souls." Asha didn't argue. She flipped through Nana's journal. Oregano plus honey. Boil. Apply hot. She foraged the hills, brewed the paste, and gently wrapped Mama Kip's knees. Day 1, useless witch. Day 2, less pain. Less cursing. Day 3, Mama Kip stood. Tars streaked her wrinkled face. "This remedy, my mother knew it. We forgot." She gripped Asha's hand. "You brought back what we lost." Word spread. Soon, a line formed at the clinic tent. Asha treated each patient, teaching girls to record recipes. Knowledge shouldn't die with the elders. Asha's rule, equal pay. Women work too. At first, silence. Women don't mix cement, men argued. Wives hesitated, fearing husband's wrath. Then, Mama Kip hobbled forward, grabbed a trowel. "My son's jobless. Ali arn for us. Try stopping me." Her defiance sparked a revolution. A young mother stepped up. "My girl craves school. I'll sweat for her." A retired warrior nodded. "Illiteracy broke me. This school, I'll raise it myself." The site buzzed. Kids sang. Women ride water. Asha watched. Dignity was being rebuilt, brick by brick. On the 7th day, the sky split. Torrents flooded the valley, trapping 3 boys in a drowning sheep pen. Men froze at the raging current. Asha ran straight in. No swimmer, she grabbed a pole, tied a rope around her waist, and waded hip deep. Grab on. One boy clung. She hauled him in. 2. The third slipped. Asha lunged, shielding him with her pregnant body, shoving him to safety. Then, the water took her. She crashed onto rocks, rely conscious as rescuers dragged her ashore. First words, "The children safe." They were. But the clinic midwife paled, the baby's position shifted. Bed rest, 2 weeks. That night, the village kept vigil. Men smoked outside the elder's hut. Women left baskets of eggs, milk, herbs. Children sang lullabies by her window. Elder Kamuni entered, sta ring at Asha's pale face. "Why risk yourself? You could have lost the baby, lost everything." "Because I'm a mother," she whispered. "All children deserve saving." Tars welled in his eyes. He remembered the day he'd stayed silent as Natasha was exiled. He'd called it honoring tradition. Now he saw, true tradition wasn't casting out the weak, it was sheltering them. 3 days later, the drumbeat. Summon the tribe. Elder Kamuni stood tall. Asha Mwata healed our sick. Built with our hands. Nearly died for our children. His voice boomed. We called her mother-stained, yet she returned our lost remedies. We called her outsider, yet she fought our battles. We called her cursed, yet her light redeemed us all. He raised his staff. Asha Mwata is officially reclaimed by the Mwata bloodline. Her school, Natasha's Light, stands under tribal protection. The crowd erupted. Women adorned Asha with red coral beads, the Maasai's highest honor. Men danced the Warrior Adamu, SPRS thrust SKYWA road. Children crowned her with wildflower wreaths. Mama Kip shuffled four-way RD, sliding a copper ring onto Asha's finger, identical to Natasha's. Your mother's spirit has come home. Asha wept. She finally understood. She hadn't been begging for acceptance. She'd been redefining what home means. Months later. The school's doors opened. 20 Maasai girls sat straight-backed, eyes bright. Asha stood before them. You can wear uniforms and bead necklaces. Leah RN English and Maasaians. You don't have to choose, be both. Their voices rose in unison. ABCCLEA are proud. Unbroken. And at the village gates, a new stone marker read, this school stands for Natasha Mwata, rebuilt by her daughter, Asha. Once exiled. Now returned. At 6 a.m., the girls of Ndurunger's Natasha's Light School were already sweeping floors, their blue uniforms neat, braids tight, rubber-soled shoes, a gift from Asha, protecting their feet on the long walk to class. Hurry! Teacher Asha's coming, called Lillian, 12, the class monitor, the first girl in the village brave enough to ask, why can't girls inherit cattle? The classroom sparkled. Black Boa road polished. Desks in perfect rows. 2 portraits hung on the wall. Natasha's face. STAR map of the Maasai sky, their astronomy textbook. At 7 a.m., Asha arrived. 8 months pregnant, walking slow but standing tall. She ca write a cloth bundle, new books, colored chalk. Good morning, my little stars. Good morning, Teacher Asha. The girls' voices chirped like dawn birds. Today's words Asha wrote on the Boa RD Mama, Swahili, mother, mama, Maasai, mother's mother, and extra for extra love. Our language holds ancestral wisdom, Asha said. Lillian raised her hand. Teacher, what's woman in Maasai Kate? Asha wrote it. Some use it as an insult, say it means weak. But I tell you, Nkate is the EARTH. The source of life. The strongest force. The girl's eyes shone. The door locked. Asha unrolled an anatomy chart. Your body isn't shame. It's miracle. Menstruation isn't dirty. It's growth. Pregnancy isn't fate. It's choice. She told them everything, her mother's EARLY death. Nana's lessons. The assault in Kibera. The Thea are when she first felt her baby kicked. I once thought my body wasn't mine. Now I know, it's where my soul lives. No one takes it. She taught them. How to spot danger. How to say no. Where to run if hurt. Nadia, 11, burst into TRS, my aunt says Alma RRY at 13 for 20 cows. Asha hugged her. From today, your body, your rules. This school protects you. I protect you. The girls clasped hands, chanting, my body. My shield. Old Mama Kip hobbled in, followed by Dr. K.A. Rue. Tradition and science, side by side. Today, oregano, Mama Kip said. For pain. For calm. Dr. K.A. Rue added, Origanum vulgare anti-inflammatory. Proven. The girls split into teams. Team 1, brewed tea the Maasai way. Team 2, tested compounds with lab kits. Their notes read, old wisdom. New proof. Asha watched, he RT full. Education wasn't erasing tradition, it was helping it evolve. After class, a black SUV rolled into the village. Out stepped a young man, designer shirt, hiking boots, camera slung over his shoulder. Daniel K.A. Russia, he introduced himself. Paul's son. Joseph's grandson. The girls gasped. The enemy's heir. Asha tensed. Why are you here? I'm a photographer. Covering African grassroots projects. I'd like to document your school. Lillian snapped, we don't need your poverty porn. Your family tried to destroy us. Daniel flinched. What my father did was wrong. I'm not here for them. I'm here to Leah RN. Asha studied him. She didn't fear the camera, she read exploitation. You can shoot, she said. But you'll stay. Attend classes. Work with us. A full week. Daniel nodded. Deal. Day 1, he fumbled with a broom. Lillian teased, city boys can't even sweep. Day 2, he butchered Masai, saying mamba, snake, instead of mama. The girls howled. Day 3. He hauled books under the scorching sun, passed out from heatstroke. Asha revived him with mint water. Day 4, during body class, he turned beet red. Later, he told Asha, I never knew. The danger's girl's face. Day 5, a storm leaked through the roof. He climbed up with the girls to patch it, hands bleeding but refusing to quit. Day 6, he taught photography. A girl captured the sunrise, whispering, teacher. It looks like hope. Day 7, standing before the class, voice cracking, I came to save you. But you saved me. I saw courage. Wisdom. Dignity. That's real wealth. He set his camera down. No more photos. I'll fund your nutrition program from my trust fund. Asha smiled. Welcome, Daniel. You're not a Ka Russia today. You're a student of Natasha's light. That night, Elder Kimuni listened to Daniel's story, then said, hate spreads like weeds. But kindness, that's a seed, it grows. He turned to Asha. Your mother would say, forgiveness isn't forgetting. It's refusing to let the past kill the future. Asha nodded. She didn't hate Paul anymore. She just hoped his son would walk a different path. Months later, the first class stood proud in handmade gowns. Not college, just primary school. But for girls once traded for livestock, a miracle. Lillian gave the speech. I thought my life was mariage, babies, cow milk. Teacher Asha showed me, my life is books. Thoughts. Changing the world. I'm not just Masai. I'm a future doctor. In the back, Daniel called his father, Dad, I'm switching majors to public health. I'm building them a real clinic. And in Kibera, the main Natasha's Light School had grown to 100 students. Maya, holding baby Hope, practiced writing in night class. Mama loves Hope. Asha gazed at the stars through her window. The storms weren't over. Prejudice still lurked. But she saw it now, the light was spreading. The skies over Natasha's light headquarters routers were heavy with rain, droplets drumming a steady rhythm on the school's tin roof. Inside the warm glow of the classroom, Asha sat at her desk, one hand resting on her swollen belly, watching her girls bent over their notebooks. The scratch of their pencils sounded like whispers, like life itself murmuring. This school wasn't just bricks and books. It was a vessel for hope. An echo for the voiceless. A small figure to root through the downpour, clutching a tattered copy of Natasha's Light Primurdo her chest. Mother, a drug addict. Father, vanished. Survived by scavenging plastic bottles. By day, she picked trash. By night, she sneaked into the school, reading under hallway lights. Tonight, she'd finally saved her tuition, 3 pairs of old shoes and half a sack of rice. She knocked on the night teacher's door. I want to Leah RN. She whispered, voice trembling but firm. My name's Mina. I want to read. The teacher's eyes welled up. She led Mina to Asha. Asha took one look at the drenched, bony child, and saw herself at 10. She pulled Mina into a hug. Welcome home. Lillian stood at the village gates, holding a wooden sign painted in Masai and Swahili, "Eno chile me riages." Girls have the right to Leah RN. Behind her, a dozen schoolgirls held their own signs. A village elder stormed up, spitting rage, Lillian. Your father took 20 cows. You ma RRY tomorrow. Lillian didn't flinch. I won't. The Child Protection Act says under 14 mariages are illegal. This school is protected by law. The elder raised his hand to strike. Asha stepped between them, her pregnant belly a shield. Touch her, and you answer to Natasha's light and this entire tribe. Elder Kamunye arrived, his staff thudding the EARTH. My decree stands, no girl here weds before 14. Break this rule, face banishment. The elder backed down, seething. Lillian collapsed into Asha's arms. Teacher, we won. Asha stroked her hair. Not one. Justice just stood up straight. Paul slammed a report onto his desk. Natasha's light now operates in 5 slums plus 3 tribal regions. 500 plus girls sponsored. Funds fully transparent. 0 audit flags. Daniel launched Youth Philanthropy Alliance, 30 rich kids funding girls' education. She's erasing us. Paul SNA led at his mother, Isabella. Using father's money to build her empire. Isabella gazed out the window. Paul, have you ever considered this might be what your father truly wanted? He wanted atonement, not a circus. Paul ROA read. Our family name shouldn't be tied to some Basta RDSCHA righty stunt. Isabella turned, eyes blazing. Then tell me, whose land did our wealth come from? Who died in those mines whose daughters were sold like goats in Kibera? Her voice cracked. Your father spent his life drowning in guilt. Now, someone's redeeming it. And you're still worried about reputation? Paul froze, speechless. The storm raged. The hospital's power failed. Asha lay on a cot in Kibera's makeshift clinic, drenched in sweat, Mama Tutu gripping her hand, chanting Masai prayers. Lillian held a flickering phone light. Elder Kamunyi prayed outside. Push. The baby's coming. Asha bit down on a towel, her mind flashing, her mother's letter. Nana's laughter. Courtroom battles. Girls chanting ABC. She realized she wasn't just having a baby. She was birthing a future. A scream split the night. A girl. Mama Tutu wept. Strong. Healthy. Eyes black as the savannah night. Asha, exhausted, smiled. She cradled the baby against her chest. Welcome. Little hope. Outside, the rain stopped. Dawn's first light hit the clinic sign, Natasha's light. 3 months later. Asha stood at the UN Africa podium, Hopi in her ARMS, we ring her faded Maasai blue dressed up. I'm Asha Mwada, she began, calm. Once called Slum Basta RD, unwed slut, witch. The hall fell silent. I'm here not because I'm a billionaire's daughter, she nodded at her baby, but because I'm a mother. A teacher. A woman who refused silence. She spoke of Natasha's letter. Nana's herbs. Lillian's rebellion. Daniel's redemption. People ask. What can Natasha's light change? She lifted Hope's tiny hand. It lets this child be born without fear. It lets Lillian say no to 20 cows. It lets Mina run through rain for a book. Her voice rose, education isn't charity. It's a right. Dignity isn't given. It's claimed. And change it doesn't start in boa ardurums to itstarts when one girl says, no more. The room erupted. Standing ovation. A year later, a sapling was planted at Ndurunger's Natasha's light, a young acacia transplanted. From the ruins of Natasha's old school. Lillian, now in high school, led a circle of new students around it. This tree, she said, was planted by a teacher named Natasha. They chased her away. But her daughter brought her back. She built this school. Made us read. So we're not unwanted. We're seeds of light. The girls chorused, seeds of light to ignite the EARTH. And beyond in Kibera, Nairobi, Tanzania, Rwanda. Natasha's light schools rose, walls ring the same words, for Natasha, your letter changed the world. Asha stood on the savannah, watching little Hope toddle through grass, giggling. Elder Kamunyi joined her. Your mother would say, see how the wind rice seeds? Asha smiled. The storms weren't over. Prejudice lingered. Violence festered. Poverty clung. But as long as one girl read to look up, as long as one school kept its lights on. the light wouldn't die.